Greeting to all. This is Dr. Ombir Dahiya, Department of Geology, Government College for Women, Gohana. Today, I am here to deliver a disquisition on topic general characters and classification of phylum Annelida, content for undergraduate student of geology. Student, first of all, we learn about what type of organism found in phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida include the segmented and bristle worm with soft, elongated, cylindrical or flattened body showing the metameric segmentation externally by ring-like grooves called annuli. This feature impart the phylum its name as Annelida because in Latin word annulus means a little ring-like structure. Thus, the presence of annuli confirm them as segmented worm. Generally, the body of annelids consisted of three regions. Anterior region is called as prostomium, and the middle segmented regions is called as the trunk, and the posterior, having ventral anus, is called as the pygidium. Annelids are first-to-coelomate animals with nephridial excretion or metameric segmentation and closed circulatory system. There is the spacious coelom, and this coelom is divided into separate watertight compartment by means of the septa, which gives the much control in the use of the hydrostatic skeleton so that the changes in shape, shortening, lengthening, or the bending can be achieved in one segment without disturbing the other adjacent segment. The segmentation is mostly homonymous as the segment are most of the segment are similar in middle region के अंदर. The certain segments, particularly the anterior segment and the posterior segments, are somewhat distinct. These make the segmentation heteronomous. There are about 15,000 of living species of the aquatic and terrestrial forms of annelid have been identified till now. In annelids, the new segmentation are formed just in front of pygidial or the anal region in comparison to the strobulation in tapeworm which occur in the neck region just behind the scolex. Student, first of all, we discuss the general characteristics, the habit and habitat. Annelids are mostly aquatic aquatic and either freshwater or marine habitat. Some are burrowing, while some are found in the moist soil like that of the earthworm. Most of the annelids are parasitic like Hirudinaria or Pontobdella. These are mostly triploblastic animal formed of three germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. Symmetry. These are generally bilaterally symmetrical. Body segmentations. Body segmentation is metameric type. Organizations. There are organ system of organization. Body plan. Most of the annelids have two within the tube body plan because the cylindrical or the tube-like body which hold the tube-like alimentary canal of varying diameter. Then next, the body cavity. These are true coelomate, as I told you, and the coelom is cytosolic in origin. Coelom is filled with watery coelomic fluid which act as the hydrostatic skeleton and help in the locomotion. In leech, the coelom is greatly reduced by the another tissue called as the botryoidal tissue, which probably excretory in function. Coelom is divided into separate watertight compartment by transverse septa. Then next is the metameric segmentation. Body with well developed metameric segmentations, most prominent distinguishing features seen in just few other phyla like arthropods and chordate. In metameric segmentations, the body is externally divided by the ring-like grooves called as the annuli, and the internally, in the similar way, the internally is divided into a number of watertight compartments by septa. In metameric segmentation, there is the serial repetition of certain organs like ganglia, nerves, paired blood vessels, nephridia, gonad, etc. These features have evolved as an adaptation for peristaltic burrowing in soft substrata. Then we next talk about the body wall. Body wall is formed of outer non-chitinous but collagenous cuticle secreted by underlying single layered epidermis which is formed of columnar cells. It contains several type of unicellular gland cells as well as the sensory cells. Musculature is represented by the smooth muscle fibers and are of two types, the outer circular muscle fibers and the inner bundles of the longitudinal muscle fibers. Innermost layer of the body wall is mesodermal in origin and formed of the parietal peritoneum except in leeches. Body appendages. Most of the annelids, the polychaete, have paired jointed leg-like parapodia. These parapodia act as the locomotory organelles. Most of the annelid have the segmentally arranged chitinous bristles called as the setae. These setae are either embedded in the epidermal sagittarius sac of the body wall or borne on the parapodia. Para means lateral, podia means feet. The leeches have sucker as locomotory organs. Digestive tract. The digestive system in case of the annelid is complete as there is the tube within the tube plan. Alimentary canal is of the varying diameters. It has the anterior mouth for ingestions and the posterior anus for ejections. So, being tailless organisms in Annelida, the alimentary canal is held in position in coelom by dorsal mesenteries as in the nares or by the transverse septa in earthworms, or the botryodal tissue which is formed due to the great reductions in the coeloms in leeches. So the botryodal tissues may be excretory as well as help in the holding the alimentary canal in position. In leeches, the digestion is always extracellular. Then we talk about the other characteristics like the respiration. The respirations are of the two types, the cutaneous respiration as well as the bronchial respirations. The cutaneous respirations occur through the general body surface or through the skin. The bronchial respirations occurs through the gills. Then next we talk about the circulatory system. The circulatory system mainly of the closed type. Annelids are the first animals to have the blood vascular system. In most of annelids, it is closed type, while in leeches, it is forms of hemocoelomic system. In hemocoelomic system, the hemoglobin is dissolved in coelomic fluid which circulate in intercommunicated hemocoelomic channels. Blood is formed of amoeboid corpuscles resembling the leukocytes of the mammals and the plasma. Plasma is generally red color due to the dissolved hemoglobin or erythrocyte. Then next we talk about the excretory system. Excretory system of annelid is represented by segmentally arranged in the coiled tubular structure called as the nephridia. These nephridia, primarily the metanephric or open type filtration system that opens into the coelom by ciliated funnel like aperture called as the nephrostomes. In annelids, nephridia may be microscopic in size as in oligocete and called as the micronephric. But in many polychaetes like Nereis and leeches, these may be macroscopic in size and called as macronephric. The both type of nephridia are excretory as well as osmoregulatory in function. As I told you that all type of the nephridia in annelids are open type. In Nereis, leeches and integumentary nephridia in earthworm directly open at the body surface by nephridiopore and hence called as ectonephric. But the septal and the pharyngeal nephridia of earthworm discharge the wastes into the gut and hence called as enteronephric. Generally, the aquatic forms excrete ammonia and land forms of annelids excrete urea. So, these are of a monotelic as well as the ureotelic in nature. In oligochaetes, certain type of the cells like the chloragogon cells or the yellow cells found in coelomic fluid act as the accessory excretory cells as they accumulate the wastes and form the chloragosomes. These chloragosomes get separated from the coelomic fluid and excreted out the body through the dorsal pores or the septal nephridia. Similarly, the botryodal tissue of the leeches may be excretory in function. Then next is the nervous system. In annelids, the central nervous system is formed of circumpharyngeal nerve rings and a solid double midventral in position and ganglionated nerve cord. Two nerve cords are enclosed in a common sheath that is called as the epineuriums. Nerve cords generally had the double ganglions in each segment. In oligochaetes, giant nerve fibers are present for rapid conduction of the nerve impulses. Then the next, sense organs. There are many type of the sense organs like the tactile organs, prostomium tentacles, prostomial palpi, prostomial cirri, and then next is the epidermal receptors of earthworm, annular receptors of leech, test buds, buccal receptors in epithelium of buccal cavity, nuchal organs on the prostomium of Nereis, photoreceptors called as the simple eyes on the prostomium of Nereis. These are certain sensory organs found in, and the next, the statocyst also found in the annelids. Then next is the reproduction. In annelids, the reproductions are of the both type is sexual type as well as the sexual type. Asexual reproduction is reported in some polychaetes which occurs through the fragmentations and transfer fissions. The sexual reproductions also found in most of the annelids. In annelids, the sexes are either unisexuals or the dioecious, as in the polychaetes, or maybe bisexuals or the monoecious or hermaphrodite, as in oligochaetes or the hirudines. Gonads are temporary in the polychaetes, but these are permanent in the oligochaetes and the hirudines. In Annelida, fertilization is internal or external. In external, there is the Othika formation as in the earthworm. So, the fertilization in case of the earthworm occurs in the Othika. The development in annelid is either direct or indirect. In monoecious, direct development occurs in the monoecious forms like earthworm and leech, while indirect development occurs through a free swimming and the ciliated larval forms that is called as the trochophore larva. The indirect development occurs in the dioecious forms like Nereis. Then next we talk about the regeneration. Annelid have a less power of regeneration than planarians. In majority of the annelids, only a few body segment, either end or the both end of the body, can be regenerated. In number of segment regenerated in species like specific like only about 15 segment can be found in. Among annelids, a very interesting regenerative phenomena is found in polyloworm kinder, in which the posterior sexual part called as the epitoke is regenerated a number of times. This is perhaps for the increase the chances of the sexual reproduction in polyloworm. Then we talk about the advancement of the annelid over the nematode. First, there is the metameric segmentations, which is a advancement over the nematode. The The second is the head, appendages, and respiratory organs, just like the gills are present in annelid. The next is the true coelom lined by mesodermal epithelium. There is the metanephridia for excretion and for osmoregulation. Then circulatory system with respiratory pigment. The circular and the longitudinal muscles occurs in the body wall, which provides the greater contractibility to the body. The next is the ganglionated nerve cord is present, and various type of the sense organs are present in the body. All these features make them the more advanced over the other minor phyla like the nematodes. Then we next talk about the classification in phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida generally classified into four classes. First is the Polychaeta, second Oligochaeta, and third is Hirudinea, fourth is Archaeannelida. Class Polychaeta. Poly means many, cat means इनकी bristles or the hair like structure that is called as the set. It is characterized by the presence of a spacious and the septate coeloms. The most of the organisms found in the class Polychaete are marines or the free livings. There are manicyt or the fleshy lateral outgrowth of the body wall known as parapodia. The organisms in polychaetes are well developed with bearing appendages. The sexes are separate with free swimming trochophore larva. There is no clitellum. Example of the polychaete is Nereis, Aphrodite, Tuberculous, etc. Oligochaeta. Oligo means Oligo means a few, or chaeta means hair like bristles or the set. These are mostly terrestrials with few aquatic species or the moist soils have few sit, number of sit in limited conditions. There is no parapodia, no distinct head, appendages, clitellum mostly present for cocoon formation, hermaphrodite conditions with copulations required. Eggs are deposited in the cocoons and development is direct. Example as the Ferithema or the earthworm. The next is the class Hirudinea. Class Hirudinea, Hirudo means leech. It is characterized by the fluid feeders. Coelom in Hirudinea is greatly reduced by the botrydal tissue, these probably for excretion. Set, septa, and coelomic compartment are absent. Blood vascular system is replaced by the hemocoelomic system. Most of the hirudines are the singivores. They suck the blood. The most these are parasitic. So either have an irreversible pharynx or the non-irreversible and suctorial pharynx. An anticoagulant hirudine of the saliva is mixed with blood and is stored in a multi-chambered crop. So their salivary gland is adapted for the secretion of the anticoagulant called as the herodine. Then next is the Annelida. Annelida bears the head with sense organs. There are present the sensory tentacles, parapodia, and sit are absent. External segmentation is quite faint. Their body appears the smooth due to these faint segmentation. Spacious coeloms in their body. The most of the forms of the Archinellida are greatly marine, found in sand or mud. The example is the Polygordius. Thank you.